Now that we have looked over the GCL Plus programming environment and some of the tools available, we need to get our program running just to make sure that it works. Look at our light control program here. What do you notice in the top left? It says waiting. Our program is not actually being viewed by our controller yet. So do you remember how we did this? We have to go back to the PG1 program that we created earlier. I called it main. Other branches might refer to it as a call program. But if we open it up, we can see it's not looking for anything else. So let's make it look for our program. We can simply go call PG2. We can hit our mode button to make sure that we got the right one. Good, it's looking for the call program. Remember to save our work, and then when we go back and look at our program, we can see that now it's running. We can open it up, and we can see which lines are being executed, and we can confirm that yes, indeed, it's running. We wrote this light control program to do the same job as this wiring example. We have our controller wired in to one of the LED lights available on the Delta DTD or Delta training device. And pushing SW1 or switch 1, we can see that in fact our program is turning on our light the way we want. To help you understand how the controller executes the lines of code, here's our light control program again. We wrote lines 3 through 5 to turn on the light and 7 through 9 turn it off. This screen capture shows the program with the switch open or the button not pressed. Notice where the green check marks are. This next screen capture shows the program again, but this time the button is being pushed. Notice the change in the trace or green check marks. Because SW1 is being pushed or it's closed, then the controller skips line 8. Using two if statements to control an output is a good way to program because it is easy for a customer to read and understand. But there are other ways to program and still get the job done. The other common way, instead of using two if statements, is to use one if-then-else statement. The if-then-else statement has been around for a long time and is the most common way to control an output. So common that Delta made it one of the auto-complete options. If you simply type the word if and then hit enter, the editor will populate the framework of the statement. This new statement is going to do the same job as lines 3 through 9. But at this point, I do not want to delete these lines. But I also do not want it to interfere with my programming. Here's a trick that you will see people use all the time. We can suspend the previous lines of code by turning them into comments. Simply add / marks, and this will turn them into comments, thus suspending their operation. I've gone ahead and populated the different parts of our new statement. Before we try to save it to our controller, we can use the validate button to see if our syntax or our programming grammar is correct. You can see we don't have any errors and we get a green check mark at the top. What I'll do is I'll simply put the then word in the wrong spot and retry to validate it. You can see we get all sorts of errors and some indication of what we did wrong. I've corrected my mistake. I'll save my program to the controller. Now let's test our program again using our new if-then-else statement. This is how the if-then-else statement basically works. The if part of the statement looks for a condition to be either true or false. If it is true, then the first part is executed. Otherwise, the last part is executed. As you saw earlier, the controller needs to see every part of an if-then-else statement laid out exactly as you see it here. And every if statement requires the command endif. By using the if-then-else statement, we basically saved ourselves one line of code. Can we make this operation any more compact? Remember this algebra example from our earlier tutorial, x equals 100? Can we use this type of mathematical or algebraic expression in our programming language? Let's try. We basically already used it a few times when we made the light equals on or off. But let's try using it to have the switch directly control the light without any if statement. I have remmed out our previous if-then-else statement, and I've simply inserted light equals SW1. I can validate it, and the compiler accepts it. So let's save it to our controller and test it and see if it'll work. From this one example, we have seen that there is more than one way to program a solution. As we continue on with our GCL Plus introductory tutorials, we will build on the if-then-else statement. But you can see that thinking like a grade 10 algebra teacher can be very useful as you continue programming.